That's right, before the Avengers broke box office records and became the premier superhero team, there was a team back in the early 2000s from my childhood that kicked a whole lot of ass. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here as promised to give you a review of a classic from my childhood and probably one of the most epic shows I've ever saw while growing up, Justice League. So basically, for those of you who don't know what Justice League is, and if you don't, I mean, have you been hiding under a rock? It follows a group of 7 heroes consisting of Martian-Manhunter, the Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Wonder Woman, Superman, and the Batman. Yeah, I just have to throw in that Jeremy Jahns reference. I mean, come on. They basically team up from time to time to save the world from wanton destruction on a daily basis, and that's the whole gist of the series. And what you got is probably one of the most epic shows to ever come on TV. I mean, this show is just the true definition of epicness. If the opening scene alone didn't emphasize that point, I don't know what else could. I mean, you see them walking in slow motion as the sun is rising from behind them. I swear to God, it is the most epic. I know I keep using the word epic, but it's true. The most epic opening I've ever seen. Even more epic than Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, any show you could think of. Nothing compares to the opening of Justice League. I mean, nothing. And I remember as a kid, I did really enjoy the show, although I don't think I appreciated it as much as I do now, because after watching it again, I just realized how great the storytelling was, how well developed the characters are, and how much they were enjoyable to watch. And they were actually put into situations that are hard to get out of. Like, you would think that it'd be easy to just swoop in and save the day, everybody's okay now. But yeah, it's kind of difficult because not only do they have to fight the villains, but sometimes they clash within themselves. Another aspect that I really appreciate from the show, because when you put a team of superheroes together, of course, egos are gonna clash because others want to feel like they're the leader and they don't want to listen to what the other heroes say. You know, there's gonna be some clashing going on, and made for some of the more entertaining scenes in this show. And proving my point again that cartoon shows from my childhood did not belittle kids and treat them like idiots. The stories in this show are dark, they're sophisticated, they're intelligent, and I was like really shocked by how detailed most of the stories are. And I would expect nothing more from the creators of Batman, the animated series, and Superman, the animated series, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. They really know how to write DC animation right. And I really loved how they developed all the characters. Each one of the 7 heroes have a story that kind of surrounds them. They're the main characters of the story. They develop them very well, and you understand them on a personal level. I mean, they really humanize these powerful beings and make them relatable. I mean, hell, I would never thought in a million years that I would relate to Martian-Manhunter's story ever. I mean, he's from Mars, he has telepathy, he could go through walls. I could never relate to him on a physical level, but on an emotional and mental level, I could relate and empathize with his situation. I mean, he lost his entire race. He has some emotional trauma in there, although it never really shows on his facial features, but he is a torn individual, and I really loved how they focused on that character. And I remember growing up that my least favorite characters in the Justice League were the Flash and, actually, believe it or not, Batman. And the reason that I really didn't like them as I was growing up is because out of all of them, they're the ones that didn't have the coolest superpowers, especially Batman. He's the only one in the Justice League that doesn't have really any superpowers. And as a little kid growing up, I was more interested on who had the coolest superpowers, and Batman didn't have the coolest superpowers. But after re-watching it again, I've come to realize that they are actually my favorite characters in the entire series. I mean, yes, Superman has the good morals, he's kind of like the Boy Scout of the group, and he's the strongest. Green Lantern, he's the badass, and Martian-Manhunter also is the badass. But I really love Wally, or aka the Flash's humor throughout the entire series, because most of them are very serious, especially Batman, but Wally has that lighthearted humor that really will bring in a kid demographic. He was the lighthearted one of the group, he was the comical one of the group, and he was one of my favorite characters. Now that I rewatched it again, I'm like, yeah, I appreciate the Flash now. He was an integral part of the group because he kept the optimism of the group alive. And then you got Batman, and like I said, when I was growing up, I really didn't appreciate his character because, I mean, there wasn't really much to him. He was just a normal guy who joined the team. But the fact that a normal guy can be in the same league as Superman and the rest of them, that's an accomplishment in itself. Also, I really like Batman's relationship with Wonder Woman. I thought it was really cute, and I really wanted them to end up together. And honestly, I wish they made a comic book story where Batman and Wonder Woman became like a thing, like they actually became a couple. But now Wonder Woman's with Superman, I'm like, no. I mean, how could you reject the Batman. Not with a voice like that, you don't reject him. Another relationship, and a very tragic relationship, is the one between Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. And I gotta tell you, at the end of their relationship, it did bring tears to my eyes, I'm not gonna lie, because I really love their relationship. It's the most well-developed relationship in the entire series, and how it kind of crumbled apart, I'm not gonna say how it does, but it broke my heart and it made me tear up just like how John did. And speaking of Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl, they have really strong female characters. They didn't play the typical damsels in distress. Hell, Wonder Woman could go toe-to-toe with Superman if she wanted to. And lastly, the animation and action is handled perfectly. It has that right amount of tension and action that keeps you engaged and entertained and seeing what's gonna happen next. And actually, watching the show again, I realized just how funny this show is. I mean, there are just some moments that are just comical and brings a smile to your face. Also, there's a lot of innuendos in this show that a lot of kids would not have noticed, and the adults would have been laughing their asses off at. But overall, calling the Justice League a really good kids cartoon is really undermining the greatness that this show is, because it's more than that. It is a great animated series. I mean, they developed the characters very well and made them all relatable, including Superman and Martian-Manhunter, the two most alien characters in this entire series. They made them relatable, we empathize with them. It has some kick-ass action scenes, awesome animation, great voice acting, and enthralling stories, and you already know what I'm gonna give this show. I'm gonna give this show a 5 out of 5 stars. It's truly an epic masterpiece, and if you have Netflix, you have no excuse not to see this show. It has some of the greatest characters put together and the most epic opening I've ever seen. I can't think of another opening that can compare to the Justice League opening. But anyway, what did you guys think of the show? Did you like it a lot? Did you find it dull and uninteresting and you couldn't get into the characters and you feel like the Avengers are a better team? And let me know, what is your favorite superhero team? Comment below. Let me know. Also, go to M4G TV and check out my new show called Cinema. We're on episode 5. We're doing a love 'em or hate 'em for Haruhi Suzumiya. I'll probably put a link right here in a box. You'll probably see it, and also I'll put a link in the description. So be sure to go check it out. Subscribe to M4G TV. But until then, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Watley II from the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.